Hey, how's everyone doing? This is your online community pharmacist, Ask Pharmacist Tish. I am so glad if you're watching tonight. I really appreciate you. Like Teacher Chronicles, I appreciate you being back again. And for all the people who will be watching the replay, I appreciate you. And leave a comment in the comment section and let me know that you were here and what you think. So, like I said, I am Ask Pharmacist Tish. I am Tish. I am your online pharmacist. I have been a pharmacist for over 20 years. So I have plenty of knowledge experience, and I am here to share all of the knowledge, all of the wisdom. Oh, shit. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. Oh my God, this is not gonna work. Oh my God, this is not gonna work. Oh my God, this is not gonna work. All right, I'm back. Hello. Let me see how can I fix this. Okay. Sorry about that. So either way, I'm a pharmacist, but clearly I need some another job to get a better computer set up to get this taken care of for y'all. So either way, I apologize for that. My computer is not cooperating with me today, but that is the beauty of live. So speaking of which, I am live. I will always be live to answer your pharmacy questions, your medication questions, and all of your lifestyle modification desire questions. I will be here for that. So like I was saying, I have been a pharmacist for over 20 years and I have a lot of caring wisdom to share with you. So if you have any questions or concerns, always give me a contact and I will be here for you. So, okay. So thank you about that. So either way, today we're just going to just do like a hodgepodge of pharmacy questions or concerns and what's going on in the pharmacy at this moment. So right now we have a lot of cough and cold issues and a lot of allergy issues that's been going on. But the tricky thing about it is the COVID-19 is, even though things have been helped out and resolved, well, not fully resolved, but is, somewhat under control, there are still concerns. So, as a pharmacist and as a healthcare professional, I have to use my wisdom to differentiate between what is an issue that could be possibly a COVID issue or a issue where that's weird. An issue where we have to that we can resolve at the pharmacy. So right now, cough and cold season. So I get a lot of questions that are asked about. Let's see, stuffy nose, runny nose, coughing and sneezing. Seem like coughing has been a really big issue that's been going on. And I have like a little trick that a lot of pharmacists or doctors that don't know or don't really think to recommend, but we're going to share that during this live. So let's say you come into the pharmacy and you have just a regular head sinus, stuffy nose, stuffiness around the eyes, a lot of pressure in the ears. And my recommendation for that would be Sudafed, Sudafed, Sudafed. Now, the thing that you may have noticed or may not have noticed as of yet with Sudafed, you have to get it behind the pharmacy counter. So there are two types of Sudafed. So let me be clear on that. You have the Sudafed that's behind the counter, and then there's the Sudafed that is over the counter. So the difference is the one over the counter that is accessible without going to the pharmacy and asking or requesting for it is not as potent, or as, in my personal opinion, is as effective as the Sudafed that you have to go to the pharmacy counter where the pharmacists and the technicians are to request. So I always recommend, let's say the pharmacy is closed, you cannot get the regular Sudafed. So you have to get the one that is accessible over the counter with the other cough and cold agents. That's better than nothing. But if the pharmacy is open, you can get Sudafed. Now, you have to have your driver's license. So that's something that you may not know or have not experienced, or now you're just now learning because of the season with the cold, and it's hot one day, it's cold the next day. That kind of caused like a havoc, coughing cold wise. So that really causes a big issue. So Sudafed is a really good product. It opens up, even if you have like a lot of ear pressure, if you have the stuffy nose, you have the congested eyes, the amazing headache, Sudafed is really good. But you do have to have your driver's license to get it. It's not a prescription, but it is controlled. So, what do I mean by that? Why do you have to have a driver's license to get plain old Sudafed behind the counter? Well, that's because Sudafed, unfortunately, can be broken down into crystal meth, along with other things. You need like some battery, you need like a crock pot, you need some, um, you know, well, either way, I'm not going to give you the recipe for crystal meth. Besides the point, that's another live. But with Sudafed, you have to have your driver's license because it's controlled. It goes into a federal database, and it makes sure that you're not getting too much per month. So it's limited to a certain amount per month if you want this product. And I do recommend getting that versus the Sudafed that is over the counter with the other cough and cold products. So, with that being said, so let's say you have an issue with a stuffy head, ears, and nose, or just one of those symptoms, along with a lot of runniness. So sometimes you can have a runny nose and you can have some blockage at the same time. What would I recommend then? So the same difference, you can get Sudafed plus a Claritin product, or Zyrtec plus a Claritin Sudafed product. So you can do Claritin D. The D stands for decongestant. And whenever you see the D, then you know that's something for the stuffy nose, or the Zyrtec D. So those products are really good. And once again, you also need your driver's license, and there's also a certain amount you can get per month. And it is regulated by a government database to make sure you don't get more than a monthly allotment of that. So um, that's, like I said, if you have the runny nose, the sneezing, but then you still have the clogged up ears, the clogged up sinuses, the stuffy nose, you can't breathe, those are good. But if you only have like the stuffy head and the stuffy ears and the stuffy nose, then you only need the plain Sudafed. All right, so let's say you have a stuffy nose, and I'm just going through stuff that people have been coming into the pharmacy to ask for, currently. Let's say you have all of the symptoms. Let's say you have a stuffy nose. Let's say you have a stuffy, runny nose, a stuffy nose, and you're coughing. Now, coughing can be a little tricky because it can be from drainage going to the back of your throat. So I rarely recommend, unless it's a dry cough, I rarely recommend just antitussive. The word is antitussive, or just a regular anti cough agent, because a lot of times you need to dry up the drainage in the back of your throat and get to the root of the problem. So it's very important when you're treating cough or cold symptoms, you want to get to the root of the problem. A lot of times it's just a virus, it's just something that happens, And with a virus, you don't need an antibiotic. You just need to let it run its course, drink plenty of fluids, and take some medications to help out meanwhile, and then you can, move on. But sometimes it can be bacterial. Whenever you have an issue that's bacterial, and a lot of times you will know when you try the over the counter products and the coughing is not going away but getting worse. If your head is just like blazing with a headache and is stuffy and is not getting any better with medication and is getting worse. If you blow your nose and you have like tissue and it's filled with green or yellow, that's when a lot of times you have a bacterial issue. And that's when, as a pharmacist, I would have to recommend that is above me now, and you have to go to your medical doctor to get an antibiotic. And usually that's the only way you can resolve bacterial infection is by going to your medical doctor and getting a prescription to kill the bacteria. Thus, the side of the effects that you're having, the symptoms that you're experiencing will go away. So back to, like, let's say, you have the stuffy head, the runny nose, and you have the coughing. Then I will recommend all-in-one product. And usually my favorite product is Alka-Seltzer Plus cough. And it's not the fizzy stuff because no one likes to drink that, but it's a nice purple, beautiful. I'm a pharmacist, so pills can be so beautiful, but it's a beautiful purple liquid tab. It doesn't make you feel drowsy. So it's an all-in-one product that would help with the stuffy nose, the runny nose, the stuffy head, the coughing, the sneezing. It's an all-in-one product, and you can still go to work and be functional, or you can go throughout your day and be functional. So that's pretty good. Now, the trick is, as a pharmacist, I'm going to ask you before I recommend anything, do you have high blood pressure? Are you diabetic? And do you have a thyroid issue? Now, those are the three things I'm going to ask you before I recommend anything. And if you do, let's say, have diabetes, for example, that's when I'm a more likely steer clear of the Sudafed-like products. That's when I'm going to steer clear of anything with the Zyrtec D, the D standing for the decongestant. We're going to stay clear of that unless I ask you, is your diabetes under control with medications? And meaning, and I'm going to be very precise, I want to hear from you that when you check your blood sugar, you have to check your blood sugar. If you say, well, I don't know, I don't have a machine at home, but I do take diabetic medications, I'm going to be hands off and I'm going to refer you back to your medical doctor and let him go through that with you. Because what can happen is whenever you take medication with a decongestant in it, that can cause your sugar or your glucose level to spike and go from and just basically get everything out of whack. So I don't want to make another problem from the problem that you already may be experiencing. But if you have if you're diabetic, or I'm gonna ask the same thing with your high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, and if your high blood pressure is under control with medication, meaning, you have a machine at home and you check your blood pressure, and your blood pressure is under control with the medications that you're taking. I'm not talking about one day your blood pressure is 160 over 80 and the next day is 140 over 90. Or, I want to hear that your blood pressure is no more than 130 over 80. Then we can help you out and we can get you some cough and cold medications that can help you be in comfort while you get your symptoms resolved. Same thing with thyroid. You don't want to aggravate your thyroid and have it out of whack and have your numbers when you go to the doctor out of whack for some cough and cold medications because it's not under control in the first place. And then you're taking a decongestant to kind of get things, out of range with your testing. Now, let's say if you come in and you just have a runny nose. Okay, that's perfect. You can have the high blood pressure, you can have the diabetes, you can have the thyroid, and it will be so much easier to just do like a plain Claritin or a plain Zyrtec, because that won't aggravate your blood pressure, your diabetes, or your thyroid. That will work out just fine. So it's just good to have a community pharmacist or someone like me that you can always come to. You can always leave a comment, or you can leave an email or go to my website, and I can definitely give you real time uh, consultation on what would be best. So if you have the high blood pressure, if you have the diabetes, if you have the thyroid, or any kind of ailments that's predisposed, or you already have the disease states, go to your pharmacist and we will be glad to help you out, because you don't want to have one issue and then cause your disease states that you already experiencing to be worse. So those are the top issues that people are coming for the pharmacy right about now. um, I know with the COVID vaccine, I'm just going to touch on this real quick and just give a little tidbit about a lot of people are coming in for the booster vaccines, the Pfizer, the Moderna, or even the Johnson and Johnson vaccines. A lot of people, they're getting the boosters and are just getting their vaccines for the first time, and they're experiencing a lot of side effects. I've noticed a nice little trick to avoiding the severe side effects is to drink plenty of Gatorade. So I'm just doing basically a mental dump of all the things I've been going through for the week, and to help you with your ailments, or just help you to be your healthiest self. So I've noticed a lot of times with giving vaccines, a lot of people are afraid that they want to go to a wedding, or they want to have a great weekend, or they don't want to go to work the next day and just feel totally horrible because they had their booster or their vaccine the day before. So a lot of times, just plain Gatorade is amazing to help out with the possible side effects. And when I say side effects of the vaccine, the typical feeling, weak, feeling, flu-like symptoms, or actually feeling like you have the COVID. A lot of times we may drink a lot of water, but the Gatorade has the electrolytes, the sodium, the potassium, the manganese, all the sodium, all that I just mentioned. We don't have the proper balance of that, and Gatorade can do that. If you're diabetic and getting the COVID vaccine, and of course, I don't recommend drinking the Gatorade because it's too sugary and that may spike your diabetes, but you can get sugar-free Gatorade and that would help out all the same. Or some Pedialyte, what we use for babies. Pedialyte is really good to help out with the symptoms of the booster vaccine, or like I said, if you're getting your first, second dose or whatnot, that is really good. So, what else is going on in the pharmacy world? A lot of ailments we've been also getting complaints about that people need help with is gastrointestinal, or your tummy hurts. So, for a tummy hurt, or if you're getting that burning in your chest area, a lot of people, like I said, we just coming off of the holiday season. We just had the Valentine's, so everyone's been going out for those romantic dinners or eating all that chocolate, the sweet cakes or whatever like that. So a lot of people have been coming in for the tummy aches, or the reflux, the acid reflux, and stuff of that nature. In that case, you have to be careful once again, and we are well trained to ask key questions, because a lot of times, especially in women, it can mimic heart issues, which is Heart Health Month, by the way. Women can have heart issues, and that can cause the mimic rather heartburn and stuff of that nature. So, if under normal circumstances, my big recommendation is, skip all the Tums. Tums is fun, Tums is nice, and the Melox, it gives like a nice cooling effect, and it gives like a nice coating action. But if it's something that you experience, every now and then, go ahead and get some Melox. Go ahead and knock it out, chug it, throw it back, or whatever directions on the bottle says, that'll be great. But if you're experiencing heartburn on a habitual basis, if you're having heartburn like twice to three times a week, then I'm gonna recommend like some Prilosec. The Prilosec, and then while that works, because it does take a good 12 to 24 hours to get the full effect of those type of medications. You know, the Prilosec, Zantac is back on the shelf. It is reformulated. The Pepcid, those are shorter acting, but you have the Prevacid. Any of those agents, Prilosec tend to be my favorite. And I will say, take those along with some Mealox. That would be also a good thing, to kind of give a nice cooling coating action while the Prilosec stops that acid that's pumping out, that's causing all the discomfort. Now, if you're having heartburn, I have, plenty of friends, and even myself, I was having constant heartburn all the time. I'm taking Prilosec, I'm doing a Mealox, and it's working, but seemed like it was becoming part of my lifestyle. I know it's not heart issues, and I'm getting checked out. So, what can you do when you're constantly having to pop a Prilosec, or you always have to pop a Nexium, and if you're not ready to take it to the medical doctor as of yet? One big thing I've been recommending, and I've done it for myself, and I recommend it to close family and friends, is to take a probiotic. How is your gut health? A lot of times, if your tummy is sick, if your gut health isn't healthy, then a lot of times you notice your head is not going to be right. Your head space is not going to be right. You ever notice, like, when your stomach is achy or is uncomfortable, you're also cranky, and your mood just isn't right? Your gut health also connects with your emotional health. So that is a great thing that I recommend and use for myself. And I also recommend to my family and friends and the patients that come into the pharmacy. So a probiotic is a really, really good way of evening out from having all of that discomfort, from all of the heartburn, all of that grinding, that dry hunger feeling because of all of that acid pumped out. So that would get you normalized. But it does take a good 4 to 6, maybe a couple of months. So you have to be ready to be on top of it and to know it's for the long run. And once you take it for a couple of months and evened out, you won't have to really worry about heartburn anymore. I rarely have issue with heartburn now that I take a probiotic. So that is amazing product. And my favorite probiotic that I take myself personally every day is called True Biotics by the Bayer Company. So it's called True Biotics. It's around $14 to $15, but I find it to be more effective than the $30 to $40 probiotics, and it's definitely better than the $8 to $9 probiotics. It's the middle of the road when it comes to cost, but it's very effective. And I don't think it's no point in wasting another $15 when you can just use the Trubiotics and get the same results, if not better, than the really expensive ones that you have to go to the pharmacy and get out the refrigerator. You have to keep it refrigerated, or probiotics can be pretty pricey. So that's something I don't really recommend getting into when it comes to cost. That probiotics is just True Biotics is the perfect thing. um but like I said, especially, women and men, you have to be careful. Make sure you get in your routine checkups, because if you are having constant heartburn, a lot of times heart issues can mimic heartburn like symptoms. So you want to get checked out to make sure you're not having an underlying heart problem that is mimicking the heartburn. So as a pharmacist, I want to, I will explore that with you, put that on the table. And if you haven't been checked out, then that's something you go I would recommend to talk to your doctor about and make sure that's good. So, another issue is constipation. Oh my gosh, you would not believe how many people who aren't taking a poop like normally. Like, amazing. So, taking a good poop is very, very, very important. That's another thing. If you're not taking a regular bowel movement, you're going to be a cranky hot mess. You're just going to be. So a lot of times people are afraid to take anything for constipation because they feel like their body's going to get adapted to it and become lazy and not want to go on your own. So I always recommend when it comes to taking a good medication for constipation, first, I want to, and also along with, if you have heartburn issues, I always ask, what are your life, what is your lifestyle like? And, are you eating a lot of junk? Are you drinking plenty of water? Are you properly hydrated? Because if you're always having issues with constipation, or if you're always having issues with heartburn or any kind of gastrointestinal like symptoms, a lot of times your lifestyle, how you eat, what you eat, can be a problem. So I always recommend, you know, how much water you drinking, especially if you're constipated. Like if your body is dry and tight, of course you're not going to release anything except urine. You need to have a nice, you know, keep yourself nice and juicy. That's what I call it. Keep yourself nice and juiced up. When you're nice and hydrated, everything flows in the right direction. Everything, your body is supposed to be nice and juicy and nice and hydrated so it can go in the right direction. Are you living a sedentary lifestyle, or are you living a lifestyle where you always just sitting and not moving? And a lot of times with us, with COVID, everything has changed where we are sitting at our computers. We're not moving. We're just sitting there for 8 to 10 hours at a time, 8 to 12 hours at a time, just sitting there. So guess who's going to be packed up? You are. So you need to just make sure, if you're working from home now, make sure get up, move around, get some stretch bands, lift some, get your body moving, do some jumping jacks, do something to keep your body moving and keep everything flowing in the right direction. So back to the constipation, once you get the consultation from me, that you got to keep yourself nice and juicy with water, keep yourself with a proper amount of electrolytes, Gatorade or Pedialyte. Once we resolve the fact that you're not moving properly and you need to, you know get some kind of exercise routine, even if it's for 5 minutes. The human body is amazing and it can really adapt, but it does not do well. It's like a car. If you don't keep it up and running, if you don't keep that oil change, if you don't keep that antifreeze, that water, if you don't keep it driving, if you let a car just sit still, guess what? It's going to die on you, even if you haven't put the key in. So you have to keep the key in, you have to turn the ignition, you got to drive around the block so it can keep going and flowing and keep everything in the right direction and working functional order. So I always recommend for constipation, Senecot. Senecot, Seno, Senecot, Kot. I think I spelled that right. But either way, Senecot is a natural vegetable laxative. And that's my favorite because it is a natural vegetable laxative. Your body's not going to get lazy, and it's not going to be overstimulating where your body's not going to want to work properly on its own. It's something that you can I recommend, if you have a chronic problem with constipation, you can just take it every day, because it's natural, along with plenty of water, and that should keep you nice and going on a regular basis. But if you have a fire truck emergency, and let's say you haven't pooped like in a week, and you're ready to burn down the whole building or something because you're all tight and packed up, I recommend some magnesium citrate. And that's something that a lot of medical doctors recommend for like colonoscopies, something to get you nice and cleansed out. A lot of people use that as a cleanse, but I don't, that's something where I don't recommend too often because your body will get used to that and it doesn't want to do anything until you take that swig of magnesium citrate. I'm sorry, I haven't puppy problems. Either way, that's something I rarely recommend unless you've been packed up for like a couple of weeks. I mean, excuse me, a week or or something to that effect where you really need to go. Um, what else? I know a lot of people like Miralax. That's another product that's on the shelf. That's something that a lot of people and children take every day for constipation. Eh, I'm not really crazy about it. I mean, a lot of doctors recommend it. I'm not crazy about it. I tried it myself personally. Absolutely nothing happened. And if I'm at the point where I'm gonna take something for constipation, I want something on and popping, and that's not popping enough for me in a quick amount of time. So maybe that's good for the long term if if the doctor recommends it. But for something immediate, I don't really recommend that. I just think it's kind of a waste of money and a waste of time, and you're still going to be constipated. Um, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get you, Cody. Chill. Another thing that people come to the farm. Oh yeah, but like I said, lifestyle modification, no excuse. You have to change up. Like I said, think of your body as a car. And even with the best cars, if you leave it in the garage, if you leave it on the side of the street and you haven't cranked that sucker up like in a month or so, when you try to go back to it, it's not going to crank and it's not going to drive around properly. So that's the same way with your body. So, get up and get moving. I'm guilty of it as well. Pharmacists, even doctors, it's like going to a doctor that's fat and they trying to tell you about your blood pressure or your cholesterol. I'm almost like that, but still listen to my advice. And I do um, go by my advice for the most part. So I'll be honest with you. So another thing people have been really complaining about is skin ailments. With skin ailments, because of the dryness of winter, a lot of people have been coming in with like just I almost want to call it dangerously dry skin. The skin is so dry. By the time they come to me, look like if I miss and just touch them, they're gonna light up on fire. That's how dry their skin is. It's like, oh my God, like what are you doing? So either way, a lot of people have the skin ailments because of the dry winter skin. Lifestyle modification. By the time you come to me, you're gonna need more than a nice hot bath and a different type of soap. But I'll play along. Let's say you come in and I'm gonna recommend the hydrocortisone cream. I'm gonna recommend the Gold Bond with the shea butter. But to get to the root of the problem is what kind of soap are you using? I love my Zest, I love my Lever, I love my Ivory soap, but those soap, in my personal professional opinion, is very drying. So the best thing to use to get rid of that winter skin are just in that eczema. A lot of African Americans, we suffer with a lot of eczema. Like my daughter, she has a darker complexion, and when she her skin got to the point where it looked, it was getting pretty bad. So I was on top of it, and I noticed the soap I was using, uh, no matter what I was doing topically with the lotions or what I was doing topically with the hydrocortisone creams, it was not cutting it. I had to get to the root of the issue, and the root of the issue was the soap. So I changed it over. A lot of people love Dove soap. Dove soap is cool, not my favorite. But when it comes to a skin ailment that's already an issue, I like for people to use Neutrogena soap. Y'all want to meet my little co-host? I want to pick him up so badly, so he's not gonna let me do anything different. until I pick them up. But Dove's, I love Neutrogena soap. It's very what we call water washable. It dissolves quickly, so you want to make sure not just leave it under the shower or leave it in a tub because it will wash away. But it really has like a really neutral smell to it. There's really no smell to it. Um, and Let me see. Hold on, I'm trying to see something. And it's very easy on the skin and it gives like a nice, it doesn't leave like a sticky film or any irritations to that effect. So that's a really good soap I recommend. Okay, now we got to the root, which is your soap. So I know the lever is great. I know the zest is awesome. I know even if the Dove, is supposed to be the best, but if it's still causing issues, you got to kick all that away, or get like some kind of anything that doesn't have parabens or sulfates, natural type of soaps, go that route, because sometimes those extra additives and those extra scents and stuff like that can really cause a issue with your skin. Anyway, hold on, let me see if I can grab them real quick. Sorry, excuse me for a minute. Come here. Okay, sorry about that. My little co-host here. All right, so hope y'all don't mind. So either way, once we get to the soap part of it, this is my little co-host Cody. So I guess I'm gonna have to have him on. Um, to discuss healthcare and stuff like that because he really wanted to meet everybody. So either way, and I'm a dog mom, so after that point, if you're, once we get the soap resolved, then we're going to move on to how are you hydrating your skin? So when you hop your butt out the shower, or when you hop out the tub, what are you doing? Are you just hopping into your clothes? Or are you hopping on, are you getting some lubrication going? Do not come to me dry when you get out the shower dry. Don't do that. Okay, especially when you're a repeat offender. I have repeat offenders that keep coming to me for the same issue when I already told them what they need to do. All right, so I'm sorry, that's the mommy in me coming out. But let's say, okay, so you hop out the shower, never come out the shower, especially, or the bath, especially during the winter time, just to hop into your bed clothes or your regular clothes. You want your skin is supple, it is still somewhat wet, and you want to put some lubrication to seal in that moisture. That's how you get your skin to even out and get rid of dry winter skin. So I always recommend, like, my favorite is Gold Bond lotion with shea butter, or you can use the um, Eucerin lotion, not the jar of it because that's a little bit too thick. But it's some kind of with the oatmeal in it. Those are really good, and I always recommend some hydrocortisone cream. Use a little bit of hydrocortisone cream, which is in the first aid section. You mix it with your Gold Bond lotion or your Eucerin, probably like, just a squirt, and then a nice generous amount of lotion. And you lather it all over your body. Start from your face all the way down, unless you have a facial skincare regimen. But that's what you want to do to lock in that moisture. I recommend that right after a shower or bath to lock in that moisture. You want to train and condition your skin that is always going to be fed moisture so it can always know it's going to happen and it evens out, and you won't get like this flaming eczema or this flaming rash or this your skin looking burnt, because it's so dry for so long, day after day after day. I also recommend that before you leave your home, do not leave your home dry, even if you lotioned up. With me, I take a shower at night and I take a shower in the morning time because I like to wake myself up or whatnot. But some people, they do one a day. That's cool. But even if you don't take a shower or bath in the morning time before you leave, do not leave your home dry. Relotion, make it a ritual, condition your skin, pamper your skin. You only got the skin is the largest organ of your body. It's an actual organ. So you want to take care of it. You don't want any discomfort to go on with it because it's unnecessary. So before you leave your home, take the time to lotion your body, the whole thing, so you can always be evened out and have beautiful. I mean, like my skin right now. See how nice and supple I look? Yeah, that's from lotioning and keeping it conditioned. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to be shiny like me. So either way, that's the best thing to do for skin ailments. But the key ingredient, once it's out of check, to recap, you want the right kind of soap. I recommend Neutrogena because it's a clean soap and it doesn't have a bunch of additives or anything that's unnatural. And that's a big deal, with no parabens or sulfate. Okay, you have the proper soap that's not leaving a film. Then you want to get a good lotion, a good clean type of lotion that's not going to cause any irritations. I love Jergens. Jergens smell awesome, but that's not going to be heavy enough, and it's just too perfumey, and it causes irritation. So we want to do like a good Eucerin lotion or a good Gold Bond lotion. And then you want to mix some hydrocortisone cream that is in the first aid section. Mix with it, and you keep doing that until your skin is trained and is smooth. And then you don't have to do the hydrocortisone cream anymore. And then you just can do the regular twice a day lotioning. And what I always tell people that come in that's so dry to the point, if you touch them, they're gonna light on fire. They're just like a match that needs to be strike. That's how dry they are. I always tell them, if you're not gonna do it, don't bother me. Don't come in asking any questions. Don't want my advice if you're not gonna do this every day, twice a day to get your skin right. Period. Another issue that's been going on, a lot of women, like I said, it's dry because the weather is really dry. But under some women, we have larger breasts, not the A cups, maybe some B cups. Either way, it doesn't matter. Under the breast can cause like a rash. You have like a little rash. I had a lot of complaints about that, where there's some moisture, but it's kind of dry at the same time, and it starts to crack. And a lot of women go to the doctor and spend so much money at the doctor's office, and they come to me with a prescription and spend so much money on the prescription, when all they have to do is come to their neighborhood community pharmacist, let us know what the problem is. And if this problem is not too progressed, then we can give you a recommendation. So basically, it's chafing. I guess you call it chafing or whatever, irritation under the breast. And I just had this week, and I helped woman out, and she was grateful. You use hydrocortisone cream with some Lotrimin antifungal, along with some Gold Bond lotion. Gold Bond lotion is my go-to. I just love Gold Bond lotion. So either way, so you're making your own compound, and so you use a little bit of Gold Bond, no, yeah, a little bit of Gold Bond lotion. You mix it with some hydrocortisone cream that's in the first aid section. And the tricky part is Lotrimin. And they'll see it's for like athlete's foot. They see it for all these different things. And they're thinking, well, what are you trying to give me? I'm trying to get help with my breast, or I'm trying to get help with my jock. I don't have jock itch under my breast. I don't have a wingworm under my breast. But Lotrimin cream or any kind of Tenactin cream or any of those type of creams in the antifungal or foot section can have different uses. So you use that 1-to-1 ratio with the hydrocortisone cream, mix it with the lotion, lather it, use it in the place where it's irritating, and with like 3 or 4 times a day, and that will take care of it and save you a good $200. That what I just recommended was under $10. And if you went to the doctor, by the time it's all said and done, you probably would have spent like $100 to $200 for a $10 problem. So that's the benefit of coming to your community pharmacist, that we are highly accessible and we are very knowledgeable on a wide range of disease states and ailments, over the counter wise, and we can save you so much money. So the same thing with men. A lot of people have been riding bicycles lately and stuff like that, or at least in my area, a lot of bicycle, riding people going on, bicyclists, I think you call it, something I'm not doing, I need to do. But either way, but they get chafing between their thighs. There's a lot of chafing going on. So it's the same recommendation for men or women who are riding bicycles. You get the hydrocortisone cream, you get the antifungal cream, slap it with some lotion, Gold Bond with shea butter or eucerin lotion, mix it up all together, slap that sucker on, and you good. And it should go away within a week's time, along with the underbreast issue. So that is pretty much all that's been going on in the pharmacy world this week. Hold on, let me see. I kind of take notes of the stuff I have going on. Let's see. Um, yeah, and then of course, with COVID, a lot of people are really concerned about their immune health. So I'm gonna go ahead and just end off with that before I take any questions. And then please, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I will be glad to answer them. But a lot of times, every day we're gonna get a lot of questions when it comes to health, like dietary aids, vitamins, and stuff of that nature. By far, along with Tyler Perry, even though he's not a doctor or a pharmacist or in the medical field, but he's a well-read man. But especially with the African American communities, we are low on our vitamin D. And I really feel like taking my arsenal of vitamins, especially including my vitamin D, has prevented me. And I'm not saying, not saying I'm the pillar of health per se, but I really felt it's prevented me thus far from having any issues or getting sick with the COVID or anything of that nature. So whenever someone comes to me and say, I really want to feel healthy, I'm really afraid of all, the cough and cold season, I don't want to get sick, I haven't gotten the COVID yet, or if I had it, and I just want to get my immune system as strong and powerful as I can get it. Doc, what do you recommend? And my recommendation is, like I said, vitamin D. At least take 2,000 IU, which is a measurement for vitamin D. IU of vitamin D. Don't waste your time on 400. Don't come to me saying I want 400 units of IU vitamin D. Don't waste my time with that. Okay, straight up. I'm gonna at least give you 2,000 units of vitamin D. Take it every day, and that will get your immune system healthy, and you can actually feel the difference. I know with me, when I take my vitamin D, I feel great. When I miss my vitamin D, I can immediately tell. By the time noontime comes at work, I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? And I'm like, I forgot to take my vitamins. And that vitamin D is the main part of it. A lot of times, people, they want zinc. I recommend zinc. It's cool. My vitamin D is really my thing now. My vitamin D is my boo. I'm gonna give you some vitamin D if you come to me. Um, Zinc is very good for immune health. A lot of people, they asking about like the what else they ask me about, vitamin C. That's always the number one thing, the vitamin C, for immune health. But when it's cough and cold season, that's when you really want to, but even beforehand, you really want to beef it up, and you really want to be prepared, especially with, the COVID. I'm not saying we're out of the woods with that, but you just want to stay prepared. Vitamin C is great. A lot of people, they believe in the echinacea, whatever you have research on your own. That's the beauty of the internet. You can do your own research, and you can come to us and we can give any clarifications on such research and give our own advice. So a lot of people do that. I either agree with you, I don't agree with you, or I'll give you a additive of what else I think you should do to go along with that. So that's been a really big deal. Um, One of my other favorite vitamins that I've noticed that been very helpful has been was not a vitamin really, but well, no, B12 actually. I was thinking about some collagen, but we'll talk about that another time. But vitamin B12, excellent. A lot of times, medical doctors recommend patients to come to the pharmacy to pick up some B12 or some vitamin B. If you come to me, I'm not going to really waste your time and tell you to get the B complex or get all a bunch of different B vitamins. I'm really big on vitamin B12, and you want it as the sublingual, meaning you want to put it under the tongue because vitamin B get gobbled up by the liver and not be into the bloodstream, and it won't be effective. So vitamin B12 and get the sublingual, the ones that you put under the tongue are the dissolvable ones. You place it under your tongue, let it dissolve so it can bypass the liver so the liver won't metabolize it where it won't be effective. It goes straight into the bloodstream and is really good for energy, and it's really good for a lot of different day-to-day functions. So B12 and vitamin D, those are the two vitamins, if you come to me, that you're definitely going to leave with. And basically, that's been the week of pharmacy. We went through the cough and cold season. We went through the allergies. We went through the tummy aches, the heartburn. We went through the constipation. I haven't had any issues with diarrhea this week, so that's been pretty good. So we could talk about that at another time. And we went through the vitamins, and then I gave a little tidbit about if you're getting the vaccine or whatnot, a really good vaccine to do. Recommendation is to make sure and drink plenty of Gatorade or Pedialyte or some kind of electrolyte, and that would really help out with the side effects and prevent you from feeling so extra blah, which is a typical side effect of any kind of vaccine, not just the COVID vaccine, but any vaccine, the flu vaccine and pneumonia vaccine, anything of that nature. So now, if y'all have any questions or anything, let me know and I will be glad to answer them. And the main thing is, like I mentioned with the cough and cold season, you do want to be careful with if you have high blood pressure. You do want to be careful with if you have we call it, if you have thyroid issue. You don't want to aggravate your thyroid readings. You want to be careful if you're diabetic. You don't want your sugar levels to get spiked, because you're going to start feeling horrible, and you don't want to be in a habit of having uncontrolled symptoms and an uncontrolled disease state when it comes to your diabetes, your high blood pressure, and your thyroid. So those are the best things about having a pharmacist, because as you're talking to us, we're doing a scan, we're listening to everything you're saying, we're going to ask open-ended questions, we're going to have you give us an answer back, and then we're going to give you the best results. If it's something that is above us, that is too much for just an over-the-counter product, then we're going to definitely urge you to go to to your medical doctor to make a visit and get it resolved. So we will give you some urgency with that. If you don't have a doctor, or if you don't feel comfortable with anyone, then we have resources of doctors, because we see how they write prescriptions. We know good doctors by the way they write prescriptions. We know good doctors by the way, if there is an issue with a prescription, if they're accessible, can we contact them easily? If we have a doctor that we have to chase around and we can't get a hold of them, or they don't want to give us a really decent answer back about a concern about a prescription, those are the doctors that we're not going to recommend. So we have all of the resources that we can help out in every way for you and your family. So any questions or anything, I will be glad to answer them. That's all I'm here for. Like I said, if you're watching on a replay, you can leave your questions. I can answer them. But what I'm doing here at this point, I'm just getting started. But I want you to know that I am here. I am here for the community. I have a wealth of knowledge, and there's no point in me just keeping it to myself. I am here, to, no matter what, how embarrassing the question can be, no matter what's going on, I am here to help because we're all human and we want to live our best lives and just be healthy. And when you're healthy, health is wealth. You feel amazing, then you can do amazing things. You can live your life with purpose. But if you're more, into feeling horrible, and if you're not, what's the word, if you're always focusing on why you're feeling horrible, or why this isn't right, or why you're constipated, or why you always have a bellyache, or why your chest is always on fire, or why your skin is like itchy, and you can't live your life of purpose, or you can't do anything because you're so consumed over little ailments that can turn into bigger ailments, or little ailments that are aggravating that can be easily resolved within a day or two. So that's the beauty of having your own personal pharmacist. So if y'all have any questions, me and my co-host Cody will be heading out. So y'all have any questions or anything? But I know I gave like a nice little rundown of every single thing. So I'm not really sure, but if there's no any questions or anything, I think we will end. And I know a lot of times people ask a lot of pet questions. So because I do have my own pets, it does help out a lot. Um, because I see how vets handle things. And that's another thing too. Vet medications can be so super expensive. But we have little tricks of talking to vets. Disclaimer, do not buy your medications from vets. Okay, that's if you don't learn anything from a pharmacist or from me or anything, remember this: do not get your prescription from a vet, because the price markup is so phenomenal that you would not want to ever take your pet back, because you're like, oh my god, it's super expensive. Like literally, they give certain vet medications, and you can literally get like a human version of it for like $4 a lot of the times. Or for some reason they'll use these expensive antibiotics. I know they got me one time, when I was naive to having pets, and I just wanted my baby well, and I wasn't thinking clearly. I was spending like $100 for like 14 pills of a pet med, when I could literally got like something way cheaper and is just as effective. So your community pharmacist, we have a wealth of knowledge, and we are so eager and so willing to help out on any disease states, even for your own fur babies, like I have as well. So either way, any questions or anything? Nope. So either way, I appreciate everyone watching. If you're watching on a replay, I appreciate it. I apologize for the technical difficulty at the beginning. Seem like I have drama every live, but you know, we'll get it worked out. So I appreciate y'all checking out Ask Pharmacist Tish, and y'all have a great evening. Take care. Bye bye.